Let me start. I'm glad Dr. Fluker shared this with you. I'm Kelly Caulfield. I'm a professor in digital media, but the program coordinator for electronic media, which, by the way, we're in the process of renaming. So we're going to emphasize content creation more in the coming years, social media video. So we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm trying to be the oldest person on TikTok. We do a ton of social media anyway. So I'm supposed to whisper TikTok because of state lawmakers. I'm sorry, but yeah, we have a lot of fun with it. And in a number of our classes, we do that. I teach the TV news class, which is one of the capstone classes at the end of your electronic media program. He teaches video production for sports, but is like neck deep in sports. He's a huge sports fan. He says, "Hey, let's do some sparring." Do not. He's been boxing for a long time and will win. But Dr. Meterson joined us a couple years ago. Long interest in sports. He and I both worked at WFAA in Dallas some years ago, so extensive experience. So we bring a lot of our experience from actual reporting and videography into what we do. So it's very practical. Everybody in our program worked in TV. Professor Lee, who's across the hall, worked for years in Korean television, has taught here for many years. Dr. McCaddy actually worked for 10 years for Al Jazeera and joined our faculty. So we have a lot of folks with extensive experience. Dan Seed, also very interested in sports, teaches visual storytelling, which is an introductory video production class, worked as a sports reporter and videographer for some years himself. So lots of experience and interest in this. He mentioned, Dr. Meterson, the sports media minor, which starts in the spring. There are other opportunities outside of that, but I want to emphasize that. The very first class will enroll in that starting in January. It used to be you all have a minor, you're all required to have a minor, but everybody has a minor outside of the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, right? We're changing that. So you'll be able to be a major in, for example, electronic media or digital media, and minor in something else in SJMC, like sports media or digital media. And so we're trying to keep more of our students in our area and give you opportunities to do the things you want to do as a major and a minor. So that's another change that's coming over the next year. Keep an eye out for that. The sports media minor you said there's a list of classes on there. Do you want to find that and call it up, or I
I
can?
just looked up, do we have a tab here?
Yeah, just grab a browser at the bottom where your LinkedIn is, and then it's a mix. So we have journalism professors teaching in there. There's an advertising prof who does a lot of marketing and branding. One of his classes is required in there. And then a number of the classes are in our area, which is electronic media or broadcast sports. There also is a pretty robust sports outlet at KTSW Student Radio. And a lot of those students are also electronic media students. They live broadcast games. They do sports coverage after the fact for their news programs. So a bunch of opportunities there. And we've had students do all of that. So come on in, grab a seat. Don't be shy. You can borrow a sport coat if you want on the way by. He's bribing everybody with candy. I love that. Paxton Graff worked at the radio station for 3 years, was in our TV news class, did the sports media class, was really interested in news and sports. He's a main anchor now in Midland on their newscast, but he does a lot of sports coverage. And so he's doing it kind of full time now. And he does a ton of like high school football and stuff, which in West Texas is the same as like professional football. So I see a knowing head nod over here. So we have a bunch of students with experience in it. So you don't have to worry about the course numbers, but this is an idea. Thanks. So the content creation for sports is going to be a new course, and that's actually the one I think that Devlin is teaching. That's the second one. And that one is about branding. Practicum, I want to tell you about, 2111. That one's special, and you don't have to wait until you're a minor or in a course or whatever. That's something you could sign up for in spring semester. What that 2111 practicum does is it assigns you to come work in electronic media with us, and you get assigned to one of the professors in the area you're interested in. If you want to do news, you might come to me. If you want to do sports, you might go to Dr. Meterson. And what we do is you get credit hours to produce content. So you'll come actually go along with maybe students from his class or him and go to sidelines and cover games, get experience doing that, and you're generating portfolio pieces. You're actually doing stories in video, getting practice, getting repetitions, if you will. And that's something you can start even as first-year students in 1301. You can sign up for practicum credits. You can have up to 3. So most students with practicum take 1 credit hour at a time. So they'll sign up for their 15 credit hours and then sign up for practicum on the side. There's no syllabus, there aren't any quizzes, there aren't any lectures. You just show up and we partner you with folks and you go report or shoot. And that's how practicum works. So that's 2111. There will be specific sections. So you'll want to ask about the section for television or for TV sports and make sure you get assigned to that one because there are practicum sections like 251, 252, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some go to radio, some go to the newspapers, some come to us. So just make sure you ask for the right one. But practicum's really cool, and we just started doing that. Program production is one of the classes we offer. We do all kinds of different shows in there, so it's an introduction to this studio and also the cameras we have available for you to check out. That used to be all newscasts, but we knew that 2/3 of our students weren't really interested in TV news, didn't watch TV news. So we've opened that up. Now students do talk shows in there. They'll do like sports media shows. My students a couple years ago in that class did a sports betting show. So, and that was kind of fun because he had like the CBS Sports app open on his phone and was talking about odds and stuff. It made me a little uncomfortable, but it was a really good show. So we've had a lot of fun with it, and we get access to sports highlights and clips and stuff through CNN. We shoot a lot of our own stuff. So Dr. Meterson has arranged with the sports information director to get a couple of sideline passes for most sporting events. And then on top of that, he adds on some other stuff. So he has taken his students not just to softball, baseball games, volleyball, but they were on the sidelines at football. And then he does extra. So last year, he went out with a producer to the river who was shooting some underwater video, and he exposed his students to that, which was really interesting. And this last weekend, he was at the Circuit of the Americas for the World Endurance Championship, Lone Star Le Mans. Is it 12-hour or 24-hour? 6-hour endurance race.
Yeah, but we got
Took a bunch of people too. So
8 students. So we got access to the media center, to the paddock. If you know anything about racing, the paddock is the space behind.
guys, I'm going to share this page we're looking at so you'll have access to it.
The Ford and Cadillac garages. And I mean, like in there to where they're like, hey, watch out. And then
That's crazy. I'll put on the, I'm going to share the screen and then I'll put on, I'm going to put on the LinkedIn because you posted some photos I know of
I
it.
also did last spring. Is that spring? I think it was spring.
Here's a look. Let me put this link in the
We
chat for
did,
you guys on
there's a
Zoom.
Picture that I use on my LinkedIn for my sort of main picture.
It's the
is when we went
horses
to
in our sports media
Future
minor.
Stadium in Austin for the USA Women's Soccer versus Iceland.
Do you have that one too on LinkedIn or somewhere else?
That's the top one.
Oh, perfect.
That's that one. I took 4 students to that. Then as you scroll down, we've got some, so this was the football spring game, where we all shot stand-ups. This is baseball. I
Yeah.
think that was the home opener.
Oh, nice.
And then this was Lone Star Le Mans, right here, just one picture from that. So yeah, I started actually last fall. And fortunately, the athletics communications director was new starting last fall because one of the things I think they wanted me to do when I got here was to develop a relationship with athletics communications here, because our best opportunities to get big time sports experience are right here. And they gave me, I had access to 1 football game, 2 sideline passes that were good for before and after the game. But they let us on during halftime because we shot some video of the band for another show.
It's not
This
like
year,
that now.
5 passes to all home games, 3 of which are sideline. 1 is me permanently. The other 2 are for any students who want to come shoot a football game. And it's not limited. And then I have 2 more that get 2 more people into the post-game press conference. So we can have 5 at the post-game press conference. Now, the thing about these other 2, although one of them is supposed to have Kelly's name on it, because that's who I applied for the pass with.
I got the email that my pass was ready, but I never got the pass because you guys get to use it.
So you see mine says photo, Mark Meterson, photo. What they've agreed to let me do is all of you could show up at a game because your ID gets you in, and then we all sit together in one spot in the stadium. There's a particularly good spot where you have access to the field, and we can take turns. they don't say, okay, Meterson, you can only have you and two students from the beginning to the end of the game. We can have somebody do half a quarter. And then they walk up and you come down out of the seats and you take the pass. So I could have all of you on the field in one game, just not all at the same time. And one of the reasons I think they let me do this is because, as you can see here is Professor Jessica James as well. Every picture you saw, I was in it. And what I told sports was, I will be there. Okay. Because I shot sports in Huntsville, Alabama. I worked for a TV station there, reporter and anchor, and covered the NCAA football championship in 1992. Alabama beat Miami in the Sugar Bowl.
Ooh.
And then I went to Dallas and did covered sports, including the Dallas Cowboys for 3 years, and did 2 Super Bowls there. So I've been there, right? And I told the head of communications, I said, I'm going to be with them. So they're not going to run on the field and take a selfie while a play is going on, because I'm watching them and they're my responsibility. And another thing I do while we're there is it's almost like we're in a class. Not the whole time, but part of the time I'm also teaching you, hey, when you shoot this, it's about to be a punt. The student that was with me at the home game, he said, hey, I could be zoomed in on the punter and then zoom out as the ball's kicked. And then I said, no, you kind of want to do it the other way around. If you watch NFL films, on a long pass or a punt, they actually are a little wider, and then they zoom in on the ball and then zoom out before it's caught. And so I'm teaching while you're there. Sorry to ruin the experience for you.
The other thing he's done is, for example, baseball, and they'll do this in football, but he would go to baseball, and then in past years, we would reach out to the sports information director, ask permission to cover a game, for example, and then we wanted to cover a post game, and 3 days would go by, 6 days would go by, no response. So he got in the habit of taking students, they'd go cover the game, sometimes from the stands. Post game, the coach and some players would walk out on the field and start doing interviews with media that had badges. So he just started waltzing out there with cameras and his students and getting post game, then would contact sports and say, hey, just letting you know, we interviewed some students and the coach after the game. We got some, so thanks, appreciate you. And like they were like, oh, that's how it's going to work. He's done that repeatedly, and so now that's just the policy. Now it's like, oh, they expect our students to be in the mix, post game covering stuff. So,
and this pass,
did it look like anybody else is out there wandering around?
no,
I'll ask him in a.
these passes say Bobcat Athletics. They're for all of our sports. Okay. This weekend I may be doing volleyball. Volleyball's opening up with the Texas State tournament. I've done a bunch of soccer. When I was on the sideline for the football game, so I'm always stressed and sweating, right? And this guy comes up, hey, man, good to see you. And I look over and I'm like,
Who is
my
it?
head, the computer, when
Yeah,
you're
of
trying
course.
to figure out somebody, and I'm like, looks familiar, wow. And then finally, baseball.
Oh, that's
baseball coach,
no.
but I'd never seen him without a cap on.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
So I was like, Coach. He's like, yeah.
And of course, that's his name.
But I
so.
think, yeah, I think for this first home game, they had all the coaches from all the other sports on the field.
That's funny.
I saw women's basketball, men's basketball, softball, and Ricky, the women's softball coach. I went out with Caden, with one of the students, last fall. No, it was the beginning of the regular season, I think. And I talked to her and we got some footage and did interviews. The next time I showed up, I had gotten permission, and I said, hey, I got permission from so-and-so, the assistant athletic director. She said, Mark, anytime you want to come to any of my games, just email me.
Nice.
And she goes, actually, if you want to come to any of the games, just show up.
Oh,
And I was like, okay.
that's amazing.
Part of that is, you're, you want to be super nice, super helpful to them. I tell them, if we do a story and you want it, you can have it. If we have footage of something we shot while the game is going on, I'll give it to you if you want it. They usually don't need it because they have athletics communications shooting their games for them. But I want to say, I've got something if you need it. I told them if they wanted me to teach them a little workshop on interviewing with sports media, like being interviewed. So, Coach, I can talk to your players if you want to talk to, want me to sort of give them some advice on being interviewed. And nobody's ever taken me up on it, but
You gonna teach them cliches? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
Media training.
Uh,
It's a good idea.
But I'm offering something.
So most of that, what he's talking about is in this class, video production for sports. It's very immersive. You're spending a lot of time. But again, increasingly we'll have students in this practicum that will get access, probably not extra stuff, or we may send you out in pairs or on your own to cover stuff, but you may get to tag along sometimes with students in that class and be part of that experience too. Again, even before you get to this in your third or fourth year here. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing is the CNN live broadcasts. So not CNN, ESPN.
Plus.
So ESPN Plus streams a lot of our home sports, a ton of
100 games this year.
Okay, so and it's all over the place. It's baseball, softball, football, basketball, volleyball, women's basketball, all these things that happen in the arena and different stadiums close to
It's straight,
Strahan.
it starts from Strahan.
yeah. So it's the control rooms in Strahan. It's very similar to the facilities we have here. Anybody working on that already? So it's not exclusive to our electronic media students, but it's mostly our electronic media students. And we can put you in touch with the person who does that. You end up doing production work. You run cameras, do instant replay, video recording and playback. Students even sit at the video switcher and actually like direct and switch that show. There's a full-time staff member employee who oversees a lot of that, and they supervise the live games, but it's fantastic experience. And so that's another opportunity. Last thing is Professor Kaufman. We have a professor who part of his duty is internships. And so he manages internships all across the School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Journalism students are required to take internships, but many of those end up being in sports media. So I have a student right now who's from TV News, from electronic media, and she's interning at KXAN, working in their sports department. So it's Julia Gooder who oversees the newscast that the University Star does. So if you go to universitystar.com, you'll see Star News Network, and she produces those newscasts, and I help her out. She does those here in the studio. But Julie is actually interning now in sports at KXAN and goes out with those guys, covers games, is on sidelines, shoots her own on-camera pieces for her portfolio. So all of those pieces, practicum, internship, sports branding, the content creation, but especially this video production for sports, gets you access to games and athletics. And man, our relationship with athletics is so much better than it was 2, 3, 4 years ago. So yes, clearly. So bring him candy too. Anyway, it really is nice. It's pretty amazing. So I'd like to. He backed into some of this, which is like, well, hey, they're down. Let's go. And I think sometimes the students, I probably would have done that because you and I did that, but students might have been nervous and like, that's not really our style. So we're like, let's just go. Like if they don't want us here, they'll throw us out.
Oh, I
Let's
did
go.
that with some of your students.
Exactly.
Baseball, they wanted to shoot stand-ups on the baseball diamond.
Yeah.
And nobody's there, but the gate is not open, it's unlocked. And I go over there and
Oh, hey, the gate's
okay,
open.
the gate's open.
That's what I would.
And I'm like, hello. And before students got there, I was walking around, nobody's there. So they showed up and I said, come on, let's go. The worst they can do is kick us out.
So this is our whole faculty. I taught for a few years at Texas Tech. Before I came here, I stalked Texas State. I've been here for 10 years, but at Texas Tech, I was out with some students shooting, and we were doing an introduction to a story that year about how their defense was good, which nobody thinks of Texas Tech and defense, not this year either. And so we went down. I said, let's go to the field. We'll go out on the field and we'll shoot something right out on the field. And like, can we do that? I'm like, come on, let's go. So I drove my car over there, parked illegally, got the gear out, marched down the stairs, walked down the field with them, and they were terrified. It was 2 students and they were all nervous, and I'm setting the camera up. Sure enough, here comes the golf cart with a couple of guys on it. And they jump out and they start like coming down the stairs real fast. And the student's like, we should go. And I said, don't worry about it. And they're like, what are you gonna say? I'm gonna drop an F-bomb. And they're like, what? No, you can't. And I turned and I said, it's okay, I'm faculty. And they went, oh, okay. And they left. And they let us shoot on the field. So we do stuff like that here periodically. We also will put you in touch with certain people. So like athletics folks you need to interview. And when I'm doing the newscast, so I have a list of like 3 or 4 associate vice presidents that I can put my students in touch with to go get interviews about record enrollment, about facilities around campus. We keep those relationships because again, we all of us, not just us, but like 6 of us worked for years in the media, especially in TV news. So we have those contacts, and we're used to like, yeah, we'll ask forgiveness instead of permission. So, but for athletics, it has really worked out. So lots of opportunities in sports. Not all the classes are video production, but obviously multimedia journalism, video production, visual storytelling, sport communication, all of those also give you access.
And again, out of all of these classes, you only need 3 hours. You need one of the classes.
Pick one.
6 hours, and there's a whole bunch of classes here.
So that's two
So,
classes.
Yeah, you've got a lot of options.
And 2111 appears up there because you can take it 1, 2, or 3 credit hours. It's your choice. You can take 3 credit hours at once, or you can take it 3 times for 1 credit hour. I suggest that because you kind of string along your access to doing sports media for 3 semesters. And why not like milk it and
And
bring
there's
it along?
different sports in the spring. And
So questions, did I step on you? Did you have some other stuff you wanted to share? So really good
Sure,
access now,
sure.
better than we've had before.
Yeah.
This facility is amazing. We can do live reporting in here, so we can have reporters like on a sideline and they can join our newscast with a live shot, for example. We can do some things like that. We take cameras out. We have cameras available in Checkout in Old Main, but we also have some cameras available here that he comes in often on like a Saturday and grabs these cameras. Yes.
So what do you recommend for someone like me who I'm more interested in like the actual like being like TV news anchor?
Yeah.
I have like a concentration in that sports media. So right now my major's in mass comm.
Okay.
And I've talked to Dr. Fluker and she suggested that I switch it to electronic media.
Mhm.
How soon do you think I need to do that? And also I'm kind of what you touched on with the media practicum, kind of tagging along with that sports media concentration, that seems like the most helpful. Like, what do you think I should do?
So a couple thoughts.
Okay.
I agree with her. I think you should
Mhm.
switch to electronic media, and you absolutely would have opportunities to like anchor newscasts and report for newscasts. And we could pair you up with somebody to go out and report and do some videography. But yeah, we have anchor opportunities, and I oversee that newscast. If we get enough students in that 2011 practicum in some semesters, we can create another newscast and start having students do just the practicum students producing their own newscast.
We
So-
can sign up for the MC211 as soon as
next spring.
Yeah.
next spring.
So
Okay.
when course registration rolls around, probably in October,
Mhm.
you can sign up for that in spring semester.
Okay.
And for 1 credit hour, again, or 3, 2 or 3, and sign up for it. And you'd be assigned to me.
Okay.
And then I would work with you on some newscast
But
opportunities.
it's important to do that mass comm switch to electronic media.
I think it's a
That's-
good
yeah.
idea. You certainly don't have to.
Okay.
And mass communication is different in some ways. It's a Bachelor of Arts.
Mhm.
Electronic media is a Bachelor of Science, but not dramatically harder. I think there's a language requirement that you're exempt from in mass comm that you have to meet in electronic media. I'm not sure, and that's a conversation you might want to have with somebody in advising. So there are a couple of differences. Mass comm's a little unique in some ways from our other 5 majors, but I'm sure we could accommodate it. We've also done we do newscasts in English and Spanish. So I worked in Miami for 14 years, and my wife is Latina, so I get plenty of help in Espanol. So we have
So I'd say electronic media major,
Mhm.
sports media is switching from a concentration to a minor.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the difference is before it's something you could put on your resume,
Mhm.
minor shows up on your diploma or at least on your transcript.
on your transcript.
On your transcript.
Yeah, definitely on the transcript.
Yeah.
And if you're not really interested in sports, you could still minor elsewhere outside. You could minor in public relations or in theater or something. But if you are interested in sports, you could be electronic media major and then minor in sports media.
Yeah, but I do want to do something that will, because I want to be like TV news
Mhm.
anchor.
Sure.
But I did athletic training for all 4 years of high school.
Oh,
but, like,
nice.
sidelining stuff, talking to coaches, talking to players.
So you do have an interest in that.
Yes.
So the other thing is the sports media minor on top of electronic media major, and this would apply to all of you, but you'll get some more TV production
Mhm.
reporting, anchoring experience
what-
opportunities with the sports media minor than I think you would with any other minor.
And
Okay.
if you go
So
to work,
I think that
sorry,
works
we'll
out.
get you next. If you go to work for a local station, you probably have a better chance getting a job there in news.
Mhm.
But if you have sports,
It just
then
makes you
once you're in there,
appeal.
and if it's a smaller market and they've only got 2 people doing sports 24/7, 365, then you can be like, hey, I know, the weekend anchor's gonna be gone this weekend,
Can I do
and I'm working Monday through Friday. Can I fill in as sports anchor on the weekend? Talk to the general manager or the news director, and they'll be like, really? You would
Yeah.
do that? Like, yeah.
Sometimes they
It's
look
not
for,
like they're gonna be like, it's like, hell yeah.
you're
we'll
doing
take
them
you."
a favor.
And they want, because when I started at the station where I
Mm-hmm.
was, they were 2 in sports, and I worked my way into sports because they added a 3rd. And I was in the station, and I was helping them out anyway.
It's a great point, and a lot of times Friday night, they'll just look for anybody who
Football,
wants to
Friday
cover
night
high
high
school
school
football.
all over the
So if
country.
you're
That's
willing, you
not
don't even have to do it
Kentucky.
every week, but it's like I mean, you did it for 4 years, basically. So also internships hugely important in TV news. So you want to do internships, you can do more than one internship. The local stations in summer, KXAN, KDU, KSAT in San Antonio, KENS 5 in San Antonio, they'll favor out of town interns in the summer. So local students who are from San Antonio or Austin,
From San Antonio.
perfect. So, but they lived, you ever watch KENS 5?
I actually went and shadowed a few anchors there.
Henry Ramos was my student. So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
And
yeah.
Jacob Rodriguez was our student. He's the producer of their 10 o'clock
Yeah.
newscast. So, yeah, but that's funny. I
I
like
love
to
that.
tease Henry. and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, you're important, but you know, yeah, you're finally important. And he gets mad at me. So, real quick, the internships, summer, they favor students who like are from San Antonio, but
Mhm.
maybe go to school at Texas Tech or out of state. But fall and spring, they always have interns who are from Central Texas. So a lot of these stations will bring in interns from August to December and again from January to May who are going to school at Texas Tech and Texas State, I mean, at UT and Texas State. And they love Texas State students. That's because you're not Texas students. So, just kidding. Sorry.
Yeah, so with the major in electronic media and the minor in sports, would most of the classes overlap, or is there like specific difference?
No, there's some where there'd be some overlap. So for example, down here, you're required to take visual storytelling, media writing, video production for your major, but we're going to allow some classes to count toward the minor. So it would be a little bit less. I think a minor is 18 credit hours, but they don't all have to be distinct. I think 2 of those classes we're going to let you double dip, we call it. So we're wiring that in. So there's another benefit to majoring in minoring in sports media and being an
You could double
electronic
dip
media
a little
major.
bit,
So
not-
yeah, not everything, but some classes, and we'll have plenty of electives. There's some really interesting courses again in the sports media minor, like the branding one, sports branding and media engagement, taught by a longtime advertising agency professional. It's all about like creating your own brand and how athletes now use social media to generate NIL. Like a really interesting course. It's not video production, but I think a really cool course and probably an opportunity in there to do some social media production. That's not something that we'd have in electronic media. So there's still some really cool opportunities in there. But yeah, great question.
Other questions?
So my major's in journalism,
Mhm.
but I want to do mostly sports broadcasting, like after the game interviews,
Okay.
like what Julie Morales does. Would I need to change my major?
You don't have to. You could stay in journalism. And we just made an agreement between me and Dr. Hinesley, who's the program coordinator for journalism. She and I are old friends. We were classmates together in graduate school. So we've known each other forever. And now we're each in charge of like a different program. So we work really well. For a long time, electronic media had one capstone option, your last class, and it was TV news. And 2/3 of our students were more interested in sports or in video production than they were in TV news. So we have 2 more capstone options now. We created a video production capstone class that's much more oriented on like mini documentary film storytelling. And a lot of our students are really interested in that. But journalism students are now allowed to take TV news as a capstone, which is also new. So you could stay in journalism, but take visual storytelling, multimedia journalism, the television news class, and cover sports if you wanted to, or news, but you'd still be able to get a foot in some of our stuff.
Sports media minor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you like us better, you can switch to electronic media.
Yeah,
But
once you get over here.
no, you could totally stay in journalism, and we're playing well together right now. And our students in electronic media also have the option to take the journalism multimedia capstone. So so students in journalism and electronic media now have 3 capstone options instead of 1 at the end. So other questions?
And one more thing, if anybody, you or anybody else wants to use one of these this semester, let me know. Okay?
Wow.
Because I've got this ability to bring this whole class.
Is that
And
donuts?
you get in, no donuts.
Candy? What are
I'm not
they?
buying beer and popcorn.
Okay.
I went to get a hot dog one time because I hadn't eaten.
Oh, at the stadium. Oh,
at the
yeah.
Stadium, because my sports class is 3:30 in the fall, 3:30 to 4:50, which is a terrible time, I know. But I went straight from here, loaded here, and went to a 6 o'clock football game on ESPN2. And all the class went, and I had no food.
Oh,
I had a
no.
hot dog, and I was like, he's giving me a hot dog? No, I can't buy this whole class. hot dog."
You're like,
Yeah.
I'm hungry too.
You're-
So
I could get you on the field, and it may be a situation where you and one other student and me are the ones that show up. If that's the case, then the 3 of us also get the pregame meal. This year, I don't have to worry about being hungry
And that's better than hot
because
dogs.
these passes include a pregame meal and the press box,
Wow, okay.
which was tacos and enchiladas.
Yeah, we don't offer that on my newscast, so
Yeah.
you should take advantage. So I like it. That's why I bring up donuts on
Sports media
production.
Major.
We both do. We have business cards out there. Dr. Fluker can share our contact information. Don't be shy. Stay in touch with us. Because I think I was going to say this semester, none of this is available, but I've been lying. So that's good.
I mean,
Um,
people haven't jumped on this quite
well,
the way I
what
thought they would.
it sounds crazy, but a lot of students, and you guys know this, a ton of students work on weekends and it's
Work at
hard to make
home.
availability. They're busy with school 5 days a week. They don't want to be doing school like a 6 day a week, or they want to be, frankly, in the stands, hanging out with their roommates and partying and stuff. So we totally get it. So sometimes it is tough to get students to want to go cover these events. So you could do it like once in a semester and get the
Would
experience.
you
It's
like a
really
quick
cool.
help
So,
too?
oh, you put a spin on it and you still cut it. Nice.
Practicing for that round. like this
Okay,
for the summer.
nice.
And one of the things I told my students in my class this morning, after we went to CODA over the weekend, take advantage of this stuff. Okay, every time we have an industry professional who we talk to, including when we were at CODA, the guy that was touring us with the Ford operation is a PR guy.
Oh,
He's
nice.
a public relations major who now obviously lifts a lot of weights because he was like a bodybuilder, but he's PR and he's working with this world endurance championship Ford team. And he takes us and goes and shows us around, but he's a PR guy. And one of the things he said is take advantage of your opportunities while you're in school. If somebody's telling you, I can get you, if you want to do sports media and you got somebody telling you, I've got passes to get you on the field during a football game and the post-game press conference, it's a huge time commitment, right? Because we get there at least an hour before the game and we stay through the press conference. So it's probably 5 hours maybe total. And it's on a Saturday. But it's your opportunity to see what it's all about. And at the very least, you could be like, you know what? I thought this is what I wanted to do and I hated it. So I think I'm not going to do sports media.
So when we want to take advantage of that, can we shoot
Let
you
me-
an email?
Let me know
Okay,
before Saturday.
okay.
And I've got them for all home games. Okay. And if you want to do, who was the person you were saying you'd like to be like?
No.
You said that, yeah.
A reporter? Was it a
Yeah.
sport? Okay.
For that.
Is she like, so we have a play-by-play person, a color person up in the booth, and then we sometimes have a sideline, like Holly Rowe and Aaron Andrews. We can have you, I'll give you a microphone with a mic flag, and we can come up with something that you would, something related to the game. And we could pretend like they just tossed to you on the sidelines to report on what just happened with this injury or whatever. And we'll record it.
Yeah.
We'll write it out, you'll memorize it, and then I'll shoot it for you. And then you can put it on your reel.
Goes on your
You've even
portfolio.
taken the class.
So at the end of electronic media, you end with what's called a demo reel. It's basically a video portfolio, 6 to 8 minutes long. If you're reporting, it's your best on camera and reporting work. If you're a videographer, it showcases your best, most creative video. So lots of opportunities to show off your visual or video storytelling.
And the people that could be hiring you don't care if it was really
Right.
on
In college-
television. They just want to see you doing it.
Yeah.
All right. And that's what we would do.
So I'm currently in electronic media. I want to go into sports media because like even back in high school, like we went to games and like we would go film.
Yeah.
Like we would talk about it and like pretty much cast it on air.
Yeah.
And what basically like I'm asking like is there like a should I switch to sports media as a major?
There is no sports media major.
So
It's
electronic
just now
media
becoming a
major
minor.
is the way to go. And then this will be, it has been a concentration, which was 12 hours. Now it's going to be an 18-hour minor. So you don't have to minor outside of School of Journalism, Mass Communication anymore. So you can.
One of the things the sports class
And
does, go ahead.
Well, no, you're going to make that point. I was about to say it. So go ahead.
Our sports class does a show here.
They produce
We're not into
newscasts.
it yet, and we can show you the open when we go into the control room. I compare it to ESPN Sports Center because it's anchors who are introducing stories that we went out in the field and produced about sports. we don't do very much game recap because we do a show like every 2 or 3 weeks. So a show like the first game of the football season, if we did a game recap of that and we're not doing a show for another few weeks, it's really old news, right? So we do a lot of sort of feature type stories, and you'll see from the open of the show that I've got in there, sort of teases of every story that we do in that show. So we basically do, you'll have a chance to be anchor. One of the things we don't do is go, okay, you really want to be an anchor? Okay, every one of our shows, you're one of our anchors. We don't do that. You don't really want to be an anchor? Well, you're going to anchor some. You're going to get that opportunity. Okay, so one of the things that's hard about our job is we get you all behind all of this equipment and we do a show and you're punching the buttons and moving the cameras and talking on camera and reading the teleprompter. And then when that one's finished, it's like volleyball. Okay, get up and rotate. Now you're going to do, you anchor, you're going to do camera, you're going to do switcher. All right. Now, by the time I get toward the end of the semester, I usually have a few students that have sort of gravitated towards a position and I let them do that again. But part of what we have to do is give you the opportunity to do all of it. And I've had students, I'm just picking on you a little bit because I don't think you want to be an anchor, but maybe you do. But they'll come in and go, I really have no desire to be in front of the camera. Like, well, during our rehearsal, you're going to be the anchor. And then all of a sudden, when we're finished, everybody's leaving class. They come up to me, Meterson, I kind of liked that. I'm like, really? Like, yeah, I know I said I didn't want to be anchor. I said, okay, well, you can anchor one of the shows. You said, I want to anchor. I think I'm cut out for this. And you blow it. You can't read the prompter. You're just way too nervous. You're like, you know what? I think I'll probably do better working behind the scenes. Or maybe I'll do it out in the field where I can sort of rehearse and practice it. And if I mess up, I can just re-record it. But you learn where you might fit in a production on a team. All right.
Great point. And you can get more than one opportunity.
I was
Yeah.
less, maybe y'all ever do, but what are the opportunities for play-by-play commentating?
We don't have much in the way of play-by-play. Now, and even ESPN Plus,
KTSW does.
KTSW, absolutely.
Student radio.
Is that a Trinity?
Yes, it's in the Trinity building. Yeah, with the
that's your
newspaper.
best opportunity there. And last year, they were athletics, ESPN Plus was kind of nudging our students out from that, because if it was on ESPN Plus, they kind of wanted this exclusive thing, which they didn't really have a right to. And did you hear the story?
Hmm.
Damphouse was on the road and he wanted to hear the men's baseball game and he tuned to KTSW and it wasn't on. And he came back. It's like, how come? And they're like, well, we're kind of trying to make it exclusive for ESPN Plus. And he's like, I don't know what happened, but one of my students then was calling the next home baseball game. I think the president put his foot down and said, I want to listen to it on KTSW with one of our students calling the game. So there's lots of opportunity there.
And KTSW is supported by student fees, so they get money from the university. And so that gives them a little more juice for arguments like that. So yeah, and ESPN Plus has a terrific opportunity for students to do at least production.
But we don't have students calling
Yeah.
games. They have permanent people they
Mhm.
pay that do baseball, volleyball, soccer, and football.
I got that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's done practice play-by-play though in his class, and I think
Yeah.
that's one of the assignments he does. So-
We actually did a boxing, an amateur boxing match, tournament, actually.
which he won. I'm kidding. He was watching it. So.
Did somebody else have a hand up? No?
Okay, so yeah, you can get our contact information for Dr. Fluker. You can grab our business cards out there. Feel free to email us. Again, I'm Kelly Caulfield. He's Mark Meterson. And we're happy to work with you guys. So, oh yeah, we do need a tour. So
Just a quick,
go ahead.
I can show you our show.
I'll go in the back. You can crowd in there. He's going to play some stuff in there. And again, you do all these positions. You'll anchor, but also run camera, do video playback.
Bag in here.
Sure can.
Not need this many positions to actually create a broadcast, Like we have classes of sometimes 20 people, so we like to be able to, have everybody do something.
We'll catch you up on some stuff. if you wanna hang out after.
You're the technical director. So let me see if this.
So you're flying the plane, okay.
Hit, in this bus here, which is programmed, hit that button, yeah.
Oh, this edition of the Zone. First, we were at USCG Stadium as Bobcat football players showed off their skills in front of a large gathering of NFL scouts and coaches. I prepared for today, 24 years. Then, women's softball is enjoying another successful season. The Zone was at Bobcat softball stadium as the Cats scratched it out with the South Alabama Jaguars.
You get to play in front of your home crowd, the energy's just different.
Will take the field with women's soccer as they play a friendly against in-state rival, the Texas Longhorns.
These are games that we have to be better.
The Zone hit the road to Round Rock and the Dell Diner, where the Round Rock Express offer fans more than just baseball.
What our big thing is opening our doors to all walks, all different types of people. And
The Zone's Brett Bierman will give us his list of top 5 players. And in our sports of all sorts segment, we'll introduce you to one of the most successful teams on campus, the Texas State Quidditch team. Wait, what?
First, it's like, oh my God, and I came out here and I was like, wow, like these people are so cool.
Stick around for this and more.
They were in the national championship game a few years ago.
So,
They got
So
beat by
that-
Harvard
yeah.
2 years ago.
That's our open for our show. We shot every bit of that footage except the very last shot of the football player in the end zone. So those were my students shooting that footage, writing those stories, getting those sound bites. I put together the open, so that's my voice on it. But it's kind of a heavy lift for people that haven't done a lot of editing to sort of put that thing together. It takes me probably 3 hours total to put that one little short piece of video together because there's a lot happening there quickly. But that's our show. I made up the name, and there's probably 400 shows around the country called The Zone, but it's all I could think of at the time, and it sort of stopped. So, any other questions?
And again, you'll be in all these positions. That one's lighting, technical directing, that's assistant directing over there. The one to the right is camera control, so you can actually shade the cameras lighter or darker. You're sitting at teleprompter on the left. Back here's the audio board. So, so yeah, you're busy throughout. We have camera operators, a stage manager, anchors, and
And I
Okay,
think
we
you
rotate
do,
people
I do
through.
as well. We have a social media director
Mhm.
for every show. So the idea will be for you, if you're social media director, to go around while we're putting shows together, get some shots, get some comments from people, get some anchors rehearsing and flubbing. People love outtakes, and then post that. So that's another role we do as part of our shows.
social media is a big part of electronic media and sports media, and it's just growing. Did you have a question? No?
Yeah, when we were at Coda on Saturday, we were in the Cadillac garage, and there's a woman leaning up against the wall, and she's like this.
Too close.
And I'm like, and somebody's like, are you social media? She's like, yeah. And so we told her who we were, and then she started getting shots of us
Oh, nice.
as we're there. So I guess she was reporting out that the Cadillac team has a tour of Texas State University students. But we went in, just to give you an idea.
Did you keep the right phone? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yes. We went into the media center, and if anybody knows what the LBJ ballroom, how big it is, the media center is about that size, if not bigger, with rows and rows of tables, and it was probably 3/4 full, and it was all international media. A lot of them were doing social media. So going out there, getting interviews, pictures, video, and coming back and posting it in the media control room there. So that's one of the things, I tell students, if you're worried about getting a job, go to sports. Now every team, conference, league, sport has their own website, their own social media, their own network. Do the Texas Longhorns still have a network? They
No.
used to.
Yeah,
Big
that,
12 or the Big 10, the Big 12 does. tennis has a channel, golf has a channel, NFL has a channel,
SEC, Big Ten.
SEC.
We've had
Big
students
Ten.
work for NCAA, the Houston Texans, the San Antonio Spurs.
Right.
We have students there right now, different schools, hockey team, one of my former students worked for years. And,
Yeah.
and they do content creation for the website and social media.
And I can't guarantee you here, you'll come back 4 years from now and go, you still can do a freaking job. Just think how many opportunities there are. And especially if you can shoot and edit video, write some copy and take a picture. So for social media or for the website, if you can create that content that they can use and just kind of let you loose to get it, you should be able to get a job somewhere. And it's only getting bigger, it's not getting smaller.
And when we have TV news students, for example, who are really serious, we tell them to create, like tease and call it a Finsta, but they'll make one with their name and like TV. And so they'll make a second account that's more professional. They'll report just on things they encounter, and it ends up coming up in interviews every time. It's a huge factor.
Yeah.
So a good social media presence where you're actively reporting on social media, just like you worked for a news outlet. And here they do, they'll say for Bobcat Update or for the Zone. And so they'll report pretty actively. And those have been making a difference in each case. So that's really good.
Questions? How many people are taking the sports media minor starting in the
There's some interest in that.
People are
So.
switching to electronic media?
Well, you don't have to switch, but if you need to take a minor anyway, so if this one fits, it's a good opportunity. And it's brand new, and again, you don't have to go outside the school, which is nice.
And for those who got here late, there is a little double dipping. So if you're journalism or mass comm or electronic media, there are courses you have to take there that also are in the sports media minor. And some of those will count. You can't do all of them, but do you know how many right now?
I think a minor is 18 hours, and we think 6 hours, 2 classes. We're going to let you,
Double dip.
if, for example, they're required by electronic media, but also required in the sports media minor, we'll count 2 classes twice. So you can double dip those classes.
So instead of 18 to fulfill that obligation.
really
for the
taking
minor,
12.
it's 12 additional.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Is that
Cool. So
it?
reach out to us if you have questions or want to
Yeah.
get involved with some stuff.
Again, just before you get to those lockers on the left, there's a little box. And we have our cards on top of there if you want to grab a card. And let me know if you want to do football. I've already got one student for September 20.
Can I use my pass for one of those home games?
It's not your passing. I just used your name to get it. No, but you can if you want.
It's all good.
Absolutely.